and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone. This is your COVID-19 local update. I'm Debra Hutchison. You know, small business is the lifeblood of our economy. Hard enough to launch a new business at any time, let alone during a pandemic. Well, our first guest today is doing just that. Joining us now is Jan Coupland of Krishlynn Designs. Hey, Jan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Debra. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk about your business, Krishlynn Designs. What is it and your goal?
Okay, so basically our concept is that we designed our brand to create comfortable, affordable, but luxurious clothing targeted towards women 50 plus. And part of our mission statement is the East meeting the West. We initially started out with our line in India, but our intentions were always to come closer to home, to have some of the products made in Canada, which we have now, and we're very excited about it. So we want women to feel and look their very best.
Okay, and full disclosure here, I am wearing one of your lovely tops. I love it.
I'm so happy.
Yes.
I'm so happy you are. And, you know, just so the viewers know, I did work at Rogers Television many, many years ago, and I love Rogers Television. They've always been there in the community, educating, informing, giving people news, supporting businesses, and I'm so grateful to be here today. And I can tell you that normally Debra would not wear something like that.
No, I would not. You brought it to my attention. I fell in love with it. I bought it, and you were right. It's wonderful. Now, had this been a lifelong dream of yours? I don't remember you ever talking about designing clothes and launching a line like this when we worked together.
No, I mean, you know me. I love, love, love clothes. I love fashion. So it was never my intention, but I did always want to open my own business. So I'll let you know a little bit of background as we go.
Yeah, I want to know. So how did this come about? When did you decide to, you know, make the jump? And how does one even start to begin to design clothes?
Absolutely. I had the fortunate pleasure of going to India in October of 2018 with my partner for a wedding. And while I was there, I met several of his family members, two of which were manufacturers that had been in the industry for over 30 years. So obviously I was interested in their business, and they showed me their pieces that they manufactured for clients, and had many discussions over the 17 days we were there. And Chris said to me halfway through, I think we should open our own clothing line. And I just looked at him like, really? Yeah.
Like, where did this come from?
But he always wanted to do exporting, get involved with export and import. So for him, it was like, I want to do this for you. This is your passion. You're a fashionista. So let's go for it. Let's do this. So from October 2018, it didn't happen. We talked about it over several months, again with his family in India over the phone, through email, etc. And then we decided, it was June of 2019, we made the decision we were going to move forward. So we had a discussion about, we need people to help us. We're not experts in all the areas in which you need to start a business. So we did hire a business manager, and she put a business plan together, and we hired a social media and a specialist in marketing and a social media coordinator. And without them, we would never be at this point where we are. Like any good company, you need a team, you need specialists to be able to guide you in every aspect. So yeah, so June of 2019 is when we were like on paper to, you know, move forward with our team.
So at what point in opening the company, launching your line, were you at when the pandemic first hit?
Yeah,
first wave hit.
Sorry, Debra. We had received a quarter of our line from India the very end of February. Oh. We were expecting another shipment, which would have been the rest of the line. But of course, it was March 12th or 13th that COVID hit. So from that point, we didn't receive any product until just recently. And we all know how tragic it's been for India. So we only had like the silk blouse you have on. We had another pattern. We had 2 silk tunics, and we had a blouse like this that's a pattern in 3 different patterns and 6 different solids. That's all we had. It was a very limited amount to showcase to people because, you know, it was not for everyone.
So what's going through Janice's mind March 13th, 14th, 15th, when you're starting to hear about this unknown virus?
Well, we had a fashion show booked for April the 1st. We had 300 people, VIP invitation only. Yeah. So that it wouldn't have occurred if things had kept going. We would have made it for April 1st to launch. And we had several boutiques. We had guests. We had acquaintances, friends, family, some dignitaries all coming. So it was interesting because 2 weeks before COVID came, the announcement, I said to Tina, my business manager, you know what? We need to look at a local manufacturer. We need to open up our avenues and just see if there's a way we can partner with someone more local. And that is a real challenge because the clothing manufacturing in Canada alone is much different than it used to be years ago. And we were very fortunate to find someone. And so we started the meetings with them, and they became part of our fall winter line.
Right. So not only have you had these beautiful tops out for a while, you actually then were able to launch a fall winter line halfway through the pandemic.
Correct. And that was a challenge in itself because the boutiques locally who I wanted to approach, they had already put their orders in and they were ready to go. They were, you know, not in a position to necessarily even give me the opportunity to go and see them in person. So out of 7 boutiques I approached, 5 of them took part of my line on, which was phenomenal. So grateful. And they all said I was an add-on because some of them had to cancel orders that they put through or they hadn't received orders. So things were in chaos for them too. And they were people that had been in the industry for years.
So it was local, basically supporting local businesses supporting other local businesses.
Correct. And working through television sales, that's always been my mandate, is to work with my clients who were my clients. I would support their businesses local as much as I could possibly do. So that just is part of how my fabric is. Fabric.
But looking back then, when you made that decision to look for somebody else locally to work with, that was really smart. When you look back on it, if you hadn't, what would have been the effect? Again,
I have to give my business manager accolades because in the business plan, that was her intention for us to work together to approach boutiques. Because we never intended to go online sales. So there's been our strategy, well, not at least not in the beginning, because the whole concept was having this huge fashion show and having all these people physically there. And from that point, going to other boutiques and having a pop-up store in there, doing meet and greets, having private parties, like everything was going to be one-on-one personal.
And you certainly had to pivot, and now you've moved to totally, at this point, online.
Yes. And because we're not a recognizable brand, it's been a bit of a challenge. As you can know, it doesn't matter what business you start in, you've got to gain people's trust, right? So it's coming along, but it's taking a lot of work, and that's what happens when you have a new business. You have to work hard.
You know, so it's been just one challenge after another. Very frustrating, I'm sure, at certain points. Did you ever think that's it? I'm done. It was not meant to be. Or was there just no stopping? Had you reached the point of no return?
I mean, just as we all have experienced a tremendous amount of uncertainty and stress during this time, no matter what business we're in, or family, friends, everything else. Again, we have such a great team between my partner and having our business manager and our marketing specialist, Tamara. They kept encouraging me, especially. Chris would never give up. But I was just feeling so bad because it wasn't moving as quickly as I wanted it to. But because I believe in our product so tremendously, I never really wanted to give up. No.
And now you are planning to open at some point your own boutique locally.
That's right. So if you don't mind, I'll mention the boutiques we have on board now. So we have
Sure.
Sky's Boutique in Coburg. We have Dan Joyce in Peterborough. We have Vivacious in Trenton. We have Audacious in Bowmanville and Newcastle Home Decor, which is a Benjamin Moore family-owned business, but she has carried things for the home as well as clothing. So she accepted
So I
some
can
of the
get a
loan.
can of paint at the curbside pickup, and I can also get Krishlynn.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Love it.
So, yeah, and because there was no one in Whitby or Oshawa, I wouldn't be competing against them. If I had a boutique in Whitby or Oshawa, I would not be opening a location in Oshawa.
Right.
But I will not be approaching anyone, obviously, in that area. And that's what I said to all of the boutiques. If someone accepted me in Trenton, I won't be approaching other boutiques there. And there are 3 or 4, just out of fairness and gratefulness to them.
All right. So fingers crossed that thing gets under control and you can finally open up your boutique. Let's go back to the actual product itself. How does your clothing then help ladies of a certain age, overcome our challenges?
Yeah, that's right. So obviously during the stages of designing the clothing, we wanted to gear our target to 55 plus. That way they could relate to me as well. Yeah. On the other hand, I had 8 models that were ready for the fashion show who were going to represent the brand. So I'd never intended to be a model. So we've made sure that we have tops that are very flattering, prints are very flattering. Our pants have no zippers, no buttons, and will sort of give you that flattering tummy. Blouses that can stay out with a jacket or just on their own. And velvet pieces that we didn't, again, want them to be clean. We want them to be luxurious, but fit in the right places and complement you in the right places. So, I've heard over the years, women have a real challenge finding clothing for their age group, and especially with some of the more generous sizes. We carry from extra small right up to 4XL. So people are thrilled because, there's so many businesses who have gone under or even other stores that were open, but they really didn't have a big selection for the generous sizes.
So what has been the response so far?
The response, I actually mentioned to you about trust, and I'm going to read something to you in a second. The brands we choose to wear and the label we display on our clothes become an extension of who we are and how we see ourselves. So that's how I want women to feel about our line. But again, it's going to take time for them to trust. We've had some good sales. Family and acquaintances and friends have been extremely supportive. And I think that comes from them already trusting Chris and I. So this is only going to get better.
Okay, we have 30 seconds left. I'm going to leave the final word to you. What do you want people to know about your journey?
I just quickly want to let them know that Chris and I are both Rotarians, and we are giving 5% back to the Rotary Foundation at the end of each year. And with that being said, that money can go back into our community. I'm the Director of Community Services for Oshawa Parkwood, and also for projects throughout the world. But keep looking at our sites, and you'll see some great news coming up. Okay,
KrishlynDesigns.com. Janice Coupland, thanks so much for joining us. Stay with us, everyone. More to come on COVID-19 Local Update after this.
Thank you, Deb.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Illness doesn't have to be a life sentence. Join me each week on Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn as we talk with doctors and other experts about how to reset your life after an illness. Learn health and wellness tips, patient stories, advice, and solutions from professionals on how to be the best you. Together we are stronger. That's Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn right here on Rogers TV.
And welcome back to your COVID-19 local update. Joining us now is personal trainer, fitness trainer extraordinaire, Miss Karen Ross of Karen Ross Wellness. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Karen.
you. Thank
Now,
you.
Karen, you specialize in the 55 plus.
Yes.
Elegantly aging, or how do you word that?
Yeah, active aging.
Active aging, I love it.
Yes, active aging, because there's a lot of people, there's a very diverse group of people in the 55 plus grouping, and some of them are very active and some of them are not, whether it be because of chronic condition, illness, pain. They've been told you can't do that anymore because you're too old, or whatever. They have got their mindset in. They've just stopped moving. They stopped doing everything. So as a fitness wellness professional, my job is to take those people and show them that it doesn't matter what label you have stuck to your forehead. It's never too late, and you can get moving depending on your own level of ability and whatnot in that moment, right? So yeah.
And you're really good at changing up an exercise to fit those different levels of fitness.
Oh, I'm the queen of modifications, Deb. Let me tell you. You know, and again, in some of my classes, I have a very large, a very diverse group of people. Some of them are very young. Some of them are active aging, right? They're over 55. And I have to modify things because I don't want anyone to feel excluded. You should not feel excluded no matter what is going on in your life. So I'm the queen of modification. I can take a high intensity interval exercise and turn it into a high intensity exercise that you can do no matter what.
Yeah. You know, seniors, as you said, they have enough challenges, but add COVID on top of that, and it's just been a disaster, because those that were active aging and getting outside, and winter on top of that,
it's been horrible.
Yeah,
it has
not doing it.
Been absolutely horrible. You know, I get emails saying, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
I'm stuck in the house. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to go for a walk because my neighbor hasn't put ice or putting anything on their walkway. And it's really, really dangerous out there. And not just for an active aging person, but for anybody.
Now, you've had to really pivot your business as well throughout COVID. How has that changed?
Wow, it has been a learning curve. Changes, not as horrible as I thought they were going to be, thanks to technology, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But it has been a bit of a challenge for people who are not technically inclined. So I try to make that as easy as possible, but I've gone virtual. You know, when the other places that I work for, I don't just have my own business, but I work for other places as well. And they shut down their live classes. You know, they were mandated to shut down live classes, and they've gone virtual. I've gone virtual. I've ramped up all of my virtual things, and I've really opened it up to whomever wants to participate, because, you know, and it's funny, I just finished doing a seminar on pandemic fitness. Mm-hmm. So, and, you know, just to tell people, you don't have to sit around and be a couch potato, because we're under lockdown again. And this second lockdown has been harder on us than the first. You know, the first one, at least we had a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And now we're like, holy cow, how long is this going to go on? Yeah. So everyone's had to pivot, and moving into the virtual world, I've had to ramp up my technical skills as well. And not only that, I don't see people and I don't hear people when I'm teaching for privacy reasons, right? But I can still feel the energy. Like there's still an energy exchange there. So, and, you know, everyone comes in, and if they're having problems getting in, they'll send me a quick little text message, help. So I do what I can to get them in. But it's been a huge learning curve, but not that bad. I've had people say to me, I'm not going back to live classes. No. I'm not going to feel safe. Even when they open up again, a lot of people are saying, I'm not doing it because I don't feel safe.
Well, especially those of us in the the older age groups. You really don't want to take
Vulnerable populations.
Yes.
Vulnerable populations. And to tell you the truth, I'm not looking forward to going back to teaching live. When we did after second lockdown, I was teaching with my mask on, my microphone on, so I didn't have to project my voice, and a face shield. So, I was doing live classes with all of that PPE, and I was encouraging my participants to learn how to exercise and do activity, not even an exercise, with their mask on.
Yeah.
Practice vacuuming in your house with the mask on, because the mask is going to be a part of our life for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, we've had to pivot and adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
All right. So while we've got you here, can you show us some exercises that you show your active aging clients?
Absolutely.
And how we can be active at home?
Yes, I'm just going to push back.
Okay, I don't have the room here in my home studio, so I'm just going to watch and enjoy watching you.
Okay, so a lot of people think that they can't do anything at home because they don't have the proper equipment.
Correct.
Right? Well, here's proper equipment over here. It's a set of weights, no big deal. All of these things here, I've gotten at the dollar store, except for the cans of soup. Well, you can get cans of soup at the dollar store, right? But these are things that you can find at home. And starting with the soup cans, right? They weigh something. Even your arms weigh something. So you can do, I tend not to call them exercises. I tend to call them wellness movements, right?
Yeah.
Just with the weight of your arms or the weight of your legs. But, something as simple as a bicep curl, sitting, and you don't have to stand up to do it. If you are balance challenged,
right,
you don't have to stand up. Reverse, working the triceps, just lifting and releasing. So very simple things with soup can, a little shoulder press. Things like that. Here's the Arnold. I'll show you the Arnold, right?
The Arnold. Are we talking Arnold?
Yeah.
As in Schwarzenegger?
So we start with the bicep curl.
Yeah.
We turn it. We press it. We bring it down. We turn it and then release it. So that's the Arnold.
Did you make that term up, or is that a well-known term?
No, I didn't. That's what that exercise is actually called, I think.
Wow.
So we've got a resistance band. You can get these anywhere. You can get them anywhere. Very simple exercises to do. As long as you keep it chest level, you don't want to go above the shoulders. A lot of active agers have shoulder problems, rotator cuff tendonitis, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't want to aggravate an injury that is healing or is in the process of healing. And you don't want to cause new injury either. Right?
Correct.
So be very mindful when you're moving. When we do cardio, I use music. By all means, get it to motivate you to move. But when I'm doing strength training, I don't use music because it's a distraction. And you really need to pay attention to how your body feels every second that you're moving. Because if you become distracted, that's how injury and accidents happen. Right? So even if you're driving the car, you become distracted. The next thing you know, you've slid into someone else or whatever. But so you need to be very mindful when you're moving. And just a very simple thing, I call it a pull apart. We start here, and you always want to sit very tall. You're not lounging in your chair. You're sitting tall. You have everything at 90-degree angles. You want stability and strength in the lower body. And you just pull apart.
Let me ask you about the bands. You say you can get them anywhere, but I know, because I've looked for them and we have some at home, they're different colors, which means they're different strengths, or how much strength it takes to pull apart.
But depending on the company that makes them is how they color code their bands. If it is color coded, like this is yellow, and the company that makes this, they have one below, which is pink. So it's not very resistant. This one is the next one up, but I have a little bit of a company. I do have these in stock, and you can double it and make it harder to pull. But usually the darker the color, the harder it is to pull. But it usually says light, medium, or hard resistance, like labeled.
So
it should be labeled.
Somebody who is active aging, then light, medium, or heavy if they're starting out?
I would start with the light. Make sure that the band is long enough that once you start to progress in your strength, you can fold it in half. And that
Then it
makes
becomes
it
a medium.
a little bit harder. Yeah, it turns it into a medium. You're right. So yeah, so I've seen these in the dollar store. I've seen them in other places. So this is under $10 to buy one of these. And then we have the kids' balls, right? And this is for lower body. You put it between your knees and you squeeze it.
Oh, what a great idea.
Yeah, working the insides of the thighs. The outsides of the legs are stronger than the insides.
Yeah.
Then you start to get shifting. These muscles can't hold your kneecap in place. These strong muscles pull it over to the side and you end up with knee pain. So it's all connected, right? And another thing you can do, just range of motion. I call these up and overs. Just shoulder mobility. Sometimes you're not wanting to strength train, but you want to increase your mobility. So just taking a ball, even if this is your current range of motion, and then over time, you increase range of motion. Right?
And once again, if it hurts, stop.
Don't do it. Just don't do it. That no pain, no gain thing is such garbage.
I was going to ask you about that.
It's garbage. Okay. The pain, when you feel pain, that's a very clear signal from your body telling you stop, or there are going to be bigger consequences. Right. So if you feel pain, you stop. You go back to it with a modification. Let's say I was doing something with my weights and it hurt. I'd stop, I'd put my weights down, I'd do a little bit of recovery, and then I would do the movement without the weights. Because again, your arms weigh something, right? Or your legs weigh something. So I would go back to the movement without the weights. And if it still hurt, I'd take stock of where it hurt and have it checked out. Have it checked out. So
okay, yeah. So are these tennis balls in your hand now?
No, these are the little happy face balls. They're the squishy, like the stress balls.
Yes.
Right? This works the lower, the forearm and grip strength. Again, active agers are grip strength. Here, can you open this for me, right? Or you're pounding on the lid, your grip strength goes. All of the little muscles and whatnot in your fingers start to go. So you take the squishy balls and you squeeze. And you're going to feel it activate from here down into your fingers, right? And the exercise that I get, and again, this is very small movement, right? And then we do it like this, out to the side, palms down, palms up. So you're changing your range of motion and you're changing how those muscles in the forearms activate.
You know what, Karen? Great tips. We are out of time. You're going to have to come back. Yes, Karen Ross Wellness. You can find it on Facebook, Karen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Deb. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be well, everyone.
Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison. Stay safe, everyone.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
My husband is a wonderful man and a great father when he's not drinking. I'm so angry he chooses alcohol over us. If he really loved us, he'd stop